I don't see why it's different than any other kind of neglect, like not feeding a child, not housing a child, leaving them somewhere to die. This is just a slow motion death.
You know, I agree with you. And I would also point out that, when a parent decides to not care for their child as well as they should, many times that's reversible, right? So if you choose to not educate your child, the child can go on and get educated. But in a situation like this, if it's allowed to go on too long, the child either becomes severely disabled like Mariah or dies. And so, it's not reversible.
Now, Emily, I understand you feel guilty for not seeking treatment for Mariah earlier, perhaps against your parents' wishes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I carry this terrible burden of guilt daily all the time, but I definitely think, I made a really bad choice at that point by not stepping up and doing the right thing, and I wish I would have.
When did you know she was sick?
When did we know?
When did you know?
I knew probably, it's pretty obvious when she was about 10. Looking back, I realized it was obvious much earlier. But to me, I could really tell when Mariah was about 10. And I'm, what am I, 17 years older than her? So I was about 27.
What were your parents thinking? Do they just assume that this was something that they could pray away? Were they in denial? How does somebody do that to a child?
Well, I think they were in denial. I think there's probably some ways they could rationalize, like, well, she's just smaller. Maybe she just has asthma. But, looking back, there were some definite signs that something was really wrong and she should have seen a doctor.
I got to ask you guys something. So religious freedom is a First Amendment right. Aren't there limits on what a religion can prescribe? Okay, if I say my religious beliefs are I get to kill Darren, that's just my religious belief. I just have to do that, and it's my religious belief. And who are you to say?
Well, we dealt with this with the Native Americans and their peyote worship, and there are many places where there's a distinction between beliefs and actions.
I don't want to get in the behavior or drug use. I want to talk about people living and dying. Why can't we get in the way of somebody's religious distortions? I don't think the Pope would allow this, frankly.
Right.
Religious distortions.
We can, Dr. Drew. Yeah. Idaho is only one of 6 states that still allow for this exemption. Other states around the nation have repealed this law. They no longer say that you can be exempt from criminal prosecution if you place your child in a position of imminent harm or danger. So this doesn't have to be. This is the legislature in Idaho refusing to stand up for the rights of kids. The Supreme Court has already ruled that your personal rights as a parent don't trump your obligation, cannot jeopardize the care of your child.
In that piece from NBC, I just saw, I think, an attorney saying, or maybe it was a state legislator saying that it's a First Amendment right, quoting the First Amendment. What's he talking about?
He can say that all day and all night, but that's not accurate.
Right. And the issue is when you're talking about your First Amendment right, and if it's the parent who has an ailment and he decides to rub olive oil and sit in a prayer circle, that's his prerogative. But this is dealing with a child, and the child's dependent on the adult for their care and their well-being. That's the issue.
I chant on this program all the time. Big people take care of little people. Adults take care of children. That's the way. You want to talk about natural law, that's a natural law. That's one thing that the species is dependent on. And if we're going to forsake that, we're forsaking everything. You want to talk about a sacred obligation, that's one we can all point at and say, okay, we got that one, Darren.
Well, yes, and I'm a parent too, so it's not that I'm not sympathetic here, but America is a country founded on ideas of religious freedom and the idea that we can worship how we please. So it's a very sensitive area, I think, when we start to get into the First Amendment.
So, Emily, I think what Darren is saying is that my religion that includes me killing Darren is okay with him, but I would argue that it's not okay that we allow... No, he said it's okay because he's very sensitive to these issues, but I would argue that it's not okay to allow your parents to neglect the medical care, the basic routine medical care that could have easily picked this up, frankly, at age 1. Had she seen a doctor?
Yeah, I'm gonna quote Mariah. This quote did not end up in one of the interviews we did yesterday, but someone had said, well, what would you say back to this legislator who says, these are First Amendment rights? And she said, well, kids like me have a right to live.
Yes.
And truly, in the end, if you're dead, all of your other constitutional rights are moot at that point, right? You're dead, it's over. And so first basic rule, keep people alive, let them live.
And Emily,
and then we can look at the other
Emily,
amendments.
I would argue that your parents are a victim of this interpretation of the First Amendment as your sister is, because they must be dying now that they've allowed this to happen to their daughter. It must kill them.
Yeah,
and they are the perpetrators of this because of distorted thinking. It's no different than if they had a thought disturbance that went unattended to, and God knows social services would have gotten in the way of that. How about how you guys have turned out? What did your parents do right? Emily,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
So,
yes.
My parents, taught us to work hard. They taught us to respect other people. My siblings and I were very close. And those things I've carried with me, and they've been very good. But, I didn't have my GED. We were quote-unquote homeschooled. I didn't have my GED till I was 28. Got my GED, went to college, graduated with honors. So things are okay now, but they were very hard for a very long time. And, quite frankly, the way they raised us has had some very bad repercussions, too.
Okay.
So,
all right. So there's resiliency, there's good genetics here that she's smart and able to find her way through this. What's your relationship like with your parents now?
When we don't talk about this, it's actually okay. I mean, I've opposed the way they raised us since I was probably 12 or 13, and so it's no secret that I just don't appreciate any of this. And your comment about them being victims of the law, I appreciate that. I think that's true, but I would also say victims of, far right-wing ideology. Yeah. And I think, that's what I think of, like when I saw this Bundy group go and occupy this refuge, this idea that you're going to do these amazing, great things that aren't amazing or great, and it's going to turn out wonderful, and it turns out terrible, and it tears families apart. And that's really what I think the story of my parents is.
Yeah, I think, Emily, I just want to say to you, you're so courageous. You made a statement that really resonated with me, and that's if you see something and you said maybe you should have said something or taken her to an emergency room, and we have the power to do that, even within our own family, even if parents aren't acting. You can tell a teacher, you can tell a school administrator. People are what are called mandatory reporters. They have to report neglect and abuse of children. So I hope people watching this get that message. That's an important message.
Absolutely. And Emily, you say, we heard from that allegedly the aunt said that medical treatment was refused not because of religion, but because your mom was paranoid of physicians particularly. Is that true?
I mean, my mom was paranoid of a lot of things. There's two reasons I'm comfortable with calling it faith healing, right? When we were children, Mariah didn't look healthy. My parents would have us gather around Mariah and pray that the devil wouldn't come back into Mariah, or that if we were very obedient children, that the devil would stop showing up in I don't know, being inside of Mariah or something. So that's crazy.
That's good. She blamed you guys for her heart condition.
Yeah,
well done.
Our disobedience. So, there's that. And then there's the fact that I asked them a lot when I was old enough to understand what was going on. Before Mariah was 18, I asked them to take Mariah to the doctor. And my mom said, we just don't believe in that. So whatever that means, you guys, but to me, it's obvious.
Right. I don't believe that the sun comes up. I don't believe in reality. I don't believe whatever. That's not an excuse for neglect.